Hello, beautiful and beloved ones. This is Lorelei from the Tightrope to 5D Music Reactions, and welcome or welcome back. And if you wonder about that strange title, these days I'm bringing you a message after about every other music reaction about this historic shift from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness for the entire planet. And this is a no message video. However, I've got this huge playlist of 5D messages that you can check out. But for today, we're going to do Diana Ankudinova, Yodel Time. And she's younger. You can tell me how young in the comments. Here we go.
C'est la Suisse, main lady justice yodel. Vont sago et choix. Pourquoi, varou, pourquoi cet amour?
Oh my goodness, it's so wonderful. I wish they'd show more of her and less of the judges. What do you guys think? Oh my goodness, I'm absolutely loving it. She said, look, it's just the old-fashioned yodeling. That's what she's doing. Just like, and it's so much fun. Do you notice how much fun she's having? She's having a great time, isn't she? Oh my goodness. Don't forget, friends, by the way, I have member tiers now, and you can check out a whole bunch of great videos I've been furiously putting in there. So go check out my member tier video. Let's continue with this. Here we go.
Yodel makes me happy, and everybody in the world will understand. Yodel macht mich glücklich, so no wissen, wo ist sie? Wie es heißt, schaut der Weg, wo die Yodel schicken, wo wir tanzen
I really wish they would stop cutting away from her and stick with her instead of these judges and all these people. This is the only video I could find of this one. So I beg your pardon on that, but I thought it sounded so cool. I had to do it. Let's continue. Don't forget to give me a like if you're enjoying this. Give them a like later and subscribe. Give me a comment. Is there another one that I'm missing, by the way, of this yodel one where we could see even better version? Let's continue.
Вообще! Это было очень круто!
Okay, I don't know. Let me just see. I don't know what the chair turning around thing means now. It says that nobody turned their chairs around. Is that a good thing or a not good thing? Give me that in the comments. But I think maybe they're talking about they were so astonished. They're supposed to turn their chair around to vote for her, and they're so astonished that they didn't turn their chair around. I don't know. I don't understand. But, oh, that was just charming and wonderful. I just wish, yeah, please put in the notes if there's something that I'm missing about, like, a better version of this where we could see her singing the whole time through. I just wanted to see her singing, and all I kept seeing was these judges. Oh, well, nothing's perfect all the time. But, if we have to put that on my scale, 1 being very third dimensional, fear, pain, sadness, anger, suffering, and 10 being very fifth dimensional, love, peace, joy, bliss, fun, ease. It's way up there in the fun and the ease, isn't it? Oh my good, fun and play and joy and all that stuff. It's way, way up there. So this one I'm going with a 9.65 on a scale of 1 to 10 on how much it lifts me up. It really made me feel good. It really made me happy. I only wish I could have seen her face doing the whole thing. So, but it was just really, really awesome. Okay, and friends, if you'd like to know a little bit about me, you can go to the About Me video. I didn't, by the way, go through the whole judges and everything because you've told me in the past that you don't want to see all of that, that you like to just see the actual performance. So if you want to know about me, you can go to the About Me video here on this channel, which leads you to a little longer video about what I call my forged in the fire of 3D journey in my younger days. But I learned a lot. I became a transformational coach, similar to a life coach, but more powerful. And I also learned about divine, natural healing, using the divine also to get involved in that. I've healed a lot of things in my own body, and I teach that on one of my channels. So that channel, you can find that on Patreon, About Lorelei. The link is in the notes. Go over there for anything of the nature of mental, emotional, physical healing and well-being and all that. Okay, so and also there's a link there if you want to show me a little love. You can donate, and that's always appreciated. You can go to the Buy Me a Coffee here as well on this channel and show me a little love. So thank you to those of you who have done that. All right, let's get to my fifth dimensional message. How does competition help or hinder our rise to the fifth dimension? Competition is like one of those sort of, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword in terms of how it helps us and how it hinders us. Like there's so much about competition that has historically just been very, very wonderful for the human race. In other words, the Olympic Games, for instance, where people they're just pushing themselves to the very highest of their ability. If there's, for human beings, if there's not a reason to push yourself be above and beyond, a lot of times we don't. I think that's true of everybody, even out in the cosmos as we hear it. There are entire planets that are kind of higher dimensional planets, but not much gets done on them because everybody has everything they want. There's never anything you lack. There's never anything you need for. So you just kind of languish around and you don't get up and accomplish these great, amazing feats. Arguably, that's one of the reasons we came to the third dimensional reality. So we would have challenges that we could overcome. So it wouldn't be so all fired easy as it was, in the higher dimensions, which is wonderful. But after billions and billions of years of it, you kind of get sick of it. So you come here and you find out what it's like to have challenge. So competition has provided for us, the human race, a reason to get up out of our sort of stagnation, if you will, and get up out of it and rise up to the greatest heights of whatever it is that we do. Doesn't matter if it's physical competition, mental competition, like Jeopardy or something like that, or schools match wits or something, or it could be competition in business, for instance. And having that competition, typically, it's caused the human being to rise to greater heights than that person could ever be known to be able to rise to, right? That's really sort of the goal of competition. It gives you something to overcome so that you can rise to the greatest heights of your possibility. But then you've got the other side of the coin. What has competition done on the other side is that it's been a struggle for people. If people have put their value of their value and their worth based upon whether they win or whether they get to the highest levels of a business or a job or whatever it may be, if they don't win. So a lot of the people in the Olympics, you could see them, these beautiful skaters, unbelievable, and literally breaking down in tears, not having won the gold. And then they put a good face on and, go and congratulate the person who did win. But you can see that it deflated them. The feeling of the thing of loss, of losing, of not being the winner, can be very deflating to the human being as well. And in businesses and so forth, you know, you can think that, you know, I'm not as good as the other guy, or it's all about, that's judgment, by the way. That all lives in the realm of judgment, and that's a human thing. That's a third dimensional thing, judging yourself or judging others. But it seems that it's difficult for us as human beings, a lot of human beings, to be inside of those competitions and not fall back into judgment of the self if you don't cut the mustard. And then sometimes people give up. Well, the heck with it, I'm just gonna, you know, throw it all in the garbage can and and go do something else. You know, that's what happens with sometimes when people don't win in these competitions or chronically don't win. So competition is kind of a double-edged sword. It also makes you feel, if you are the winner, you kind of have a false sense of your importance or bravado or whatever, right? You see this with some of these sports teams who are always winning, 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 and then, you know, they feel like, you know, I'm the big dog, I'm the top dog, and, you know, like I can do whatever I want in the world because everybody looks up to me and thinks I'm great, and I can throw money around, you know, like it's nothing, burn it, and do sometimes not very good things to other people, you know, because I'm all that in a bag of chips, right? So it can be very, that's the other thing. It can either deflate the ego or overinflate the ego. So these are like problems of this whole world of competition. So then where do we go from here? What happens when we get to the fifth dimension? What happens with competition when we get to the fifth dimension? Basically, friends, once you get to the fifth dimension, there's actually really no need anymore for that. Because when you're in the fifth dimension, you are actually at the pinnacle of, in anything you want to be at the pinnacle of, you can be at the pinnacle of. You see? Because if you want to learn how to play the piano like a maestro, you could actually download in the higher dimensions that program, so to speak, calling it this, you know, so you understand what I'm talking about, and you become a maestro. If you want to be an amazing figure skater, same thing. Download that, and you can shift and change the body as needed at will, so it can be perfectly formed for whatever it is you want to do, whether it be your hands or your figure skating or anything at all, you know. So there's really nothing that's out of your range that you'd actually have to compete for. And actually, you just do these things for the sheer joy of it. You see, the Creator created the whole universe, first starting with let there be light, for the sheer joy of it. And you get joy in everything, so you don't have to be. You never ever, there was absolutely never a time when a higher being, or that's part of the higher dimensional consciousness, is to know that there's nobody better and nobody worse than anybody else. Even the higher beings don't even look at the human beings here on this earth as lower than them. They don't even think that way. Like, it doesn't even come into their consciousness. In fact, they have a great admiration for us, for actually putting up with all of the strife and all of the struggle and all of the obstacles of this life. They look at us like we're kind of Olympic athletes. That's what they look at us like. We're Olympic athletes in the world of looking to come to the higher dimensions, to be back in the light, you know. And we go through life after life after life, and that's our training for that Olympic sport to get up to the higher dimensions again. Believe it. It seems crazy. How could an angel or an archangel or a ascended master have an admiration for me? But they do. But they have admiration for each other too, because it's all admiration up there. They only see the good. And that's why they only create the good right up there, because they only see the good. And so it is a third dimensional construct. Competition is something that we created in the third dimensional reality, as a means for us to overcome obstacles and get to the very highest pinnacle we could possibly get to. And the fifth dimension is about the highest pinnacle. You can go to sixth, seventh, eighth, and you're always working on that in the higher dimensions to get to the next and the next and the next, so forth. But for us, really, when you get to 5D, you've arrived, you know. Now it's a nice, easy ride up to the So next. Really, competition has served us. It's been a great thing. It's been a great help here. But as we get closer and closer to the higher dimensions, we're going to be letting it fall away. We won't need to try to let it fall away. We're just going to naturally let it fall away, because we're just going to naturally feel like, oh, it's not really necessary anymore. I'm moving up to the higher realms and regions where everything is possible, anything is possible. I can be, do, have anything in an instant, instantaneously. So competition is not necessary anymore. to push me forward. So it's many, many things that are like that in this third dimensional reality. These constructs, these that we've created, they have been useful to us here. They really have been very useful to our lives, but now it's time to let them go. Okay, beloved ones, that's what I have to say on competition here. And by the way, I remember one time, this is got about, I'll just tell you this little story, being maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, being at a particular fair they call the Big E, or the Eastern States Exposition, and they have this circus in the big top or something, and you have to sign up in advance if you actually want a ticket for the thing, even though technically it's free. But if you actually want to get in there, you got to sign up in advance. So I did that, and I got in there, and there was this contortionist doing this stuff with his body that I literally thought, okay, this guy's not even this guy is not even a third dimensional being anymore. This is not possible. What he was doing in front of my eyes is not possible for the human being to do. It's just not possible. This guy has got to be in the higher dimensions. That's how unbelievable it was, because the body just doesn't work like that. I still remember that, and I don't know, I find the guy and find out whether that's actually true, but I probably would never, but that's what it felt like to me. It felt like this is a man who is a higher being, a person who's a higher being, and is hanging out with us here a little bit, and then going back to 5D and doing all this craziness that the human body couldn't possibly do. So extraordinary. So yeah, you don't have to worry about it when you get to 5D, because you can do anything, have anything. So, all right, beloved ones, I'm going to finish up there. I'm going to send you that beautiful fifth dimensional energy, the love, the peace, the joy, the bliss, and all things possible, everything you could possibly even imagine being possible, coming at you now. Namaste. I honor the God in you.